Total Exploration and Production Nigeria, an international oil company, says it successfully clamped and repaired its Obadirume oil export pipeline after observing an oil spill at kilometer 25 and 27 locations. According to them, intervention teams were mobilized to the affected areas to quickly arrest the spill from spreading. A joint investigation visit carried out on the oil spill locations with relevant regulatory agencies ascertained that the incident was due to sabotage. Our energy correspondent Olu Phillips reports.
Usually, when international oil companies tell you they have done a cleanup after a spill, it doesn't always follow as claimed. So when a spill was reported recently around a community in Rivers State, we sought to see the response, this time by Total Exploration and Production Nigeria. The community in question is Rumekpe in Rivers State, but getting to the spot, it's not a tea party. The terrain is tough, safety of workers not exactly. You need protection, right clothing, all sorts. Obadirume export line belongs to Total E&P, a 30 meters long pipeline. The attack was said to have happened on kilometer 25 and 27. The management team explains efforts so far at containing the spill.
We had a joint inspection. It's not only the management side, it's also the government who are here to investigate. We have the DPR, we have the NOSDRA, we have the Ministry of Environment, we have the families, they've looked at it, and we all agreed, and it's a signed document that yes, it is a third-party interference.
Sadly also, there's an existing surveillance contract with the community, a different contractor for each kilometer. In other words, 30 contractors in all, so who is responsible?
If there are cases that you need to apply sanctions, you do that. In addition to that, we equally know that the law cities is clear that you just have to do everything possible to protect the people and the environment as it were.
The area has been long cordoned off, confining the crude to a spot for removal. Also, these sandbags you see is to prevent it from seeping into the river. Meanwhile, the management team says community effort has been stepped up with water supply and engagement.
We are well controlled. This is a village that is a law-abiding community. But we are aggrieved. We are not happy at all.
Our prime objective is to make sure that we try and stop the oil from damaging further. You understand? It is when we have done this that we will come. It has happened. It will be solved.
This elevated surface you see is the aftermath of an oil containment effort by Total E&P Nigeria Limited, an international oil and gas company. Buried under this surface, traversing over 30 kilometers, is in 12 inches diameter export line, OML 58 to be precise, onshore production line for Total that has been said to have been hacked in by a third party some days back, causing spill around this area. The cleanup and remediation is costing the company millions of dollars already, but they say this is what they have to do pending the outcome of investigations.
Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, are still on course to win their first title at the Afro-Basket Championship currently going on after making it to the last four in style. An 88-64 win over Gabon took Nigeria to the semi-finals of the African Championship for the second time since 2011. The Will Voigt-led team will face Senegal tomorrow in Rade. On evidence of the team's performance in 5 matches, hopes of winning the African title remain very much alive. In football, home-based Super Eagles players preparing for the 2017 AFCON qualifying match against Tanzania are very optimistic of victory At a press conference in Abuja, the players confirmed that the talents from the league have the quality to prosecute Nigeria's quest to feature the championship in Gabon. And in club soccer, Barcelona's Brazil forward Neymar could play a part in tomorrow's La Liga match at home to Malaga after completing his recovery from illness. Neymar has been suffering from mumps, depriving Barcelona of 1/3 of their lethal attack that includes fellow South Americans Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi. He missed this month's European and Spanish Super Cups, as well as last weekend's 1-0 win at Athletic Bilbao in their opening match of the campaign, but could return to face Malaga at the new camp. And now to tennis. World #1 Serena Williams says she is ready to handle the pressure of going for the calendar Grand Slam after going through a similar experience at Wimbledon. Serena now has the chance for her first calendar slam of all 4 majors in a year if she wins the US Open. She has already won 4 straight major titles dubbed the Serena Slam. The 34-year-old American has been breaking records ever since she won her first major title at Flushing Meadows in 1999. Another victory this year, and she would become the first woman or even man in the Open era to win the US Open 7 times. Steffi Graf was the last player to win the calendar slam in 1988. That's it on Sports News. It's back to Ijoma with the rest of the news at 10.
It's unfortunate, but history has repeated itself as the South Sudan peace deal appears to have collapsed barely 24 hours since the deal was signed. The warring factions are putting the blame on each other for resuming the conflict, as was the case during the past 7 deals. Here's Cynthia Are with more.
Well, thank you. Rebel leader Riek Machar says the South Sudanese government troops had attacked towns held by the insurgents, but army spokesman Colonel Philip Aguirre rejected the accusation and said it was the rebels who had attacked the government soldiers. Late on Thursday, state television confirmed that President Salva Kiir had decreed that a permanent ceasefire meant to end a 20-month conflict would go into full effect at midnight on August the 29th. Then Libya has recovered the bodies of 82 migrants washed ashore after their overcrowded boat sank on its way to Europe, while Austria said 71 refugees, including a baby girl, had been found dead in the back of an abandoned freezer truck. 3 people were arrested in Hungary in connection with the truck deaths, and Austrian police say they suspect a Bulgarian-Hungarian trafficking ring is responsible. Then 2 days after it was confirmed that the Islamic State had received its first recruit from Ghana, authorities from the West African country are now investigating several universities over links to suspected recruitment for the so-called Islamic State. The National Security Coordinator confirmed that 2 Ghanaians had left to join ISIS, but also said there was no cause for alarm because only a handful of Ghanaians had gone to join the militant group. That's the foreign news wrap-up. It's back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia. And on entertainment news tonight, comedian Julius Agu grants Channels Television UK his first television interview after a brain tumour surgery. Here's Mayowa Ogundili.
Thank you very much. On entertainment news tonight, Nollywood actor and filmmaker Kunle Afolayan has unveiled the Pan-African cast of his next film, The CEO, in a press conference in Lagos. Kunle Afolayan, whose last movie, October 1, won him several awards, has assembled a cast, including Grammy Award-winning singer Angelique Kidjo, Hollywood's Jimmy Jean-Louis, Nigeria's Wale Ojo and Kemi Lala Akindoju, as well as other actors from South Africa and Morocco. Comedian Patrick Onyeke, popularly called Mr. Patrick, has added his voice to the list of entertainers calling for investments. In an interview with Entertainment News, the comic actor said comedy is a bankable venture, adding that comedians also need to be more creative.
We've not explored so many parts of comedy. It's just stand-up comedy and, let me say, sitcom that we are still doing in Nigeria. I jumped into slapstick comedy, which is the skit I do. So they have so many types of genre of comedy which people need to look into.
Still talking comedy, good news for fans of comedian Julius Agu, who is back in business following his brain tumor surgery in the United States several weeks ago. Channels TV caught up with Julius the Genius in the UK, where he is planning to, metaphorically speaking, crack the ribs of his fans.
And already London is agog. People are waiting to see. Some are like, you sure say Julius will perform? What is going to happen? So, but then, my joy is that a lot of people are already talking about the show. The buzz is in town.
DB Records boss D'banj has postponed the release of his visual EP to September, thereby joining the growing list of entertainers unveiling their projects in the same month. Singers Wizkid, Davido Orezi and Iyanya are some of those who are set to release albums in September. On the music front, singer Deep is out with a brand new single titled Mademoiselle. The dance track features Triple MG producer and singer Sele Bobo.
As I see this waka, I see the waka, me I begin to holla.
Also, singer Tonier has released a music video for her latest single, Ari Belema. The video was directed by Wale David. That's it on entertainment. The main news will be back shortly.
Thanks a lot, Mayowa. And the main news again. Legal practitioners have agreed to key into President Muhammadu Buhari's anti-corruption crusade. The president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Augustine Alege, confirmed this commitment after the NBA's 55th annual general meeting held in Abuja. And the president has endorsed the centenary city after the board convinced the federal government that the project is private sector driven. President Buhari gave the nod following a meeting with the board members. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. You have a great weekend. Good night.